The night I flew home, I slipped off to Ethan's bachelor party, planning to surprise him. Before my hand even touched the door, I heard roars of laughter inside. Ethan's voice floated out, casual and cocky, "Marry Serena? Come on, she's a gorgeous block of wood. Once I milk the Vance family dry, I'll kick her aside. My sweet softy knows how to have fun." The crowd hooped and chanted sis-in-law. Through the crack I saw Ethan's secretary perched on his lap, feeding him wine mouth to mouth. I stepped back into the corridor and texted him, "Ethan, are you ready for the license tomorrow?" He answered in a flash, syrupy as ever, "Sweetheart, I'm too excited to sleep. I just want to make you the happiest bride alive." Staring at the counterfeit sweetness, I called the real power behind Caldwell. "Adrian, I accept your marriage proposal. But I want Ethan on his knees calling me little aunt." Before you keep listening, subscribe and drop your city in the comments. 3 beats of silence. Deal. He hung up. One word. No questions, no fake courtesy. My fingers trembled around the phone, not just from rage, but because I'd just sold myself to the most dangerous man on the East Coast. Adrian. Ethan's uncle. A man who could make Riverdale bow with a glance. Within 10 minutes a black Maybach purred to the curb. I moved to the window for one last look at Ethan's half-open door. Chloe's cutesy giggle and Ethan's nauseating promises still leaked through. I spun away and hurled the wedding gift meant for Ethan, box and all, into the hallway trash. Garbage belongs with garbage. I went downstairs, slid into the back seat. The heater blasted, laced with cool cedar. Adrian handed me a folder. "Read it, sign if it's fine. Prenup." My stomach iced over. I'd braced for brutal clauses or a breeder contract. But the farther I read, the faster my pulse raced. I wondered if my eyes were broken. Half of Adrian's real estate holdings. 2% of Caldwell stock. Unconditional backing for any business move I make. I closed the file and eyed him. "Adrian, are you charity or a bailout?" He leaned in. Long fingers tipped my chin, pads brushing my skin. "Close enough to share breath. Because that useless nephew has annoyed me for years." "Your enemy's enemy is your ally, good enough?" His breath fanned my cheek, pure aggression. A strange thrill overrode my doubt. I hesitated, then signed. "Pleasure doing business, Caldwell." "Say husband." The correction sounded idle, absolute. I bit my lip, still resisting. He released me, lounged back, pleased. Dawn, outside the city clerk's office. A thin rain fell. I stood on the steps, my phone buzzed. Voicemail from Ethan, "Sweetheart, a project imploded at Caldwell. I can't leave. Can we postpone the license a few days?" Behind him a woman moaned, "Chloe. Some project." I answered without inflection, "No rush, work comes first." Powered off. Adrian waited at the door. I slipped my arm through his. "Let's go." "Uncle Caldwell." His brow arched, he said nothing and strode inside. Photos, signatures, stamps. 3 years of waiting compressed into 5 minutes. When the red booklets hit my palm, the last thread to my past snapped. We stepped outside, Ethan's video call popped up. I picked up. Ethan in a hospital gown, VIP room backdrop, face theatrically pale. "Sweetheart, I collapsed at the office, overwork. Don't you care? I know you're mad about delaying, but I can't help it." Camera tilts, Chloe peels an apple, eyes red. "Serena, the CEO gave everything for Caldwell. Please don't blame him. It's my fault for not looking after him. She might have fooled me, if lingerie weren't peeking from the pillow." I smiled thinly. "You're right, immature. So I found you a proper elder to teach you manners." Ethan blinked. "What?" I shifted the lens. Adrian angled in, onyx pearl bead bracelet, slice of steel jaw. Ethan's nightmare. Ethan yelped, phone tumbling. "You uncle? Sweetheart, why are you with uncle?" Adrian didn't bother looking. "Passing by, Howing her the family tree." Ethan folded like a lawn chair. "Of course, family first. I won't interrupt." Call ended. I exhaled years of bile. Adrian tucked a wind-loosed strand behind my ear. "Feel better?" I waggled the marriage certificate. "Not yet." He chuckled. "Family dinner tonight. Time to meet the clan, and collect interest. Caldwell Estate." Ethan cornered me, whisper hissing. "Serena, you show up empty-handed? Uncle Adrian's here and you bring nothing?" I glanced at Chloe holding gift bags, charming cousins. "She your secretary or your fiancé?" I asked. He scowled. "Chloe's my right hand. Don't embarrass me at dinner." Chloe drifted over, flashing a jade bracelet. My heart stopped. "Mom's heirloom. Lost at Caldwell 6 months ago, Ethan swore he'd find it. He'd simply gifted it to his mistress." I seized Chloe's wrist. Where did you get that? She squealed. Serena, you're hurting me. Ethan shoved me off. Have you lost it? That's my mother's jade bracelet. He bristled. You're seeing things. Chloe picked that up for $30 at a flea market. Yours is gone, get over it. Chloe whimpered in his arms. I know you look down on me, but don't accuse me of theft. She flicked her wrist, crack. The bracelet shattered, green shards skittering. Chloe wailed. My bracelet. Ethan, you gave it to me. Ethan cradled her, glaring at me. It's just a trinket, Serena. Stop scaring her. When did you become so cheap and vicious? The last ember in my chest died. That trinket was Mom's final gift. I knelt, trembling, collecting fragments. Jade sliced my palm, blood dotted the shards. Ethan ignored me, wiping Chloe's tears. I'll buy you a better one. Then the door slammed. The butler's voice rang, Adrian has arrived. Ethan shoved Chloe aside and snapped into obsequious attention. His gaze idled across the room, then locked on me crouched on the floor. The instant it met my bleeding hand, his eyes turned arctic. Ethan hadn't noticed. He trotted over like an eager puppy. UNC. Lou. You're back. Let me introduce. Adrian didn't spare him a glance, he walked straight past. Ethan froze, grin wilting. Adrian reached the head of the table and sat, long fingers drumming the mahogany. Eat. The air at dinner was suffocating. Then Adrian spoke. Ethan. Ethan jumped so hard his chopsticks clattered. Yes, sir. Adrian sliced his steak, eyes down. I've seen the books. 8 tomorrow, forensic auditors walk into your division. Clang. Ethan's spoon slid into the soup bowl, splashing grease down his shirt. His face went the color of wet cement, sweat beaded on his temples. The hole he'd dug to bankroll Chloe was about to cave in. Embezzlement meant Stonehaven. You uncle, no need for all that, right? It's family money. Adrian lifted one eyelid. Business is business. Caldwell cash isn't for keeping your stray pets. Chloe paled, afraid to breathe. I tasted sweet justice under the table. My foot brushed Adrian's calf. Thanks for the save. He paused, then closed his fingers around my ankle, thumb tracing the bone in quiet warning. I shivered. He kept sipping soup like nothing happened. The man could toy with me in his sleep. To plug the 8 million hole, Ethan crashed into my suite the second the banquet ended. He dropped to his knees, mascara already running. Serena, help me. If he finds the gap, I'm headed to Stonehaven. Sign this, just this, and the hole's gone. He whipped out a contract, prenuptial property transfer agreement. No pretense, he wanted my dowry, $200 million trust, parked in his name. Safekeeping, he called it. I stared at the mutt wagging its tail. That fund is the last safety net my father left me. He grabbed my hand. I swear it's temporary. I'll wire every cent back once the storm passes. Chloe? Purely my assistant. You're the only woman I love. This was the man I'd loved 3 years? Comedy gold. I let my eyes fill with fake conflict and sighed. All right, if it's for our future. I produced the pen I'd readied hours ago and scrawled a flourish. Ethan hugged the pages like holy scripture, smacking kisses on the signature, then scrambled out. Tomorrow's engagement party will make you the envy of the city. The party was his consolation prize because we still hadn't filed our marriage license. Not once did he ask how I felt. Old me would have danced till dawn, new me just laughed. After I shut the door, I speed-dialed Adrian. The fish swallowed the hook. Ready and waiting for the wind. The engagement gala took over Caldwell's flagship hotel. Ethan had invited half of Riverdale. He strutted in white tails, hair lacquered to marble slickness. Chloe wore my couture gown. The seams bit into the small swell of her belly as she played hostess, glowing with petty triumph. Guests whispered, is the Vance heiress brain dead? The fiancé flaunts the mistress and she smiles? Word is she's paying $200 million for the Caldwell name, hopeless romantic. More hopeless, Vance merges into Caldwell. Ethan found the softest sugar mama. Ethan ignored the buzz, lifted the mic with soap opera sincerity. Thank you for celebrating Serena's and my engagement. Today doubles as the announcement that Vance will be folded into Caldwell. Applause was polite at best. Chloe stood stage side, rubbing her bump, mouthing, you lose. Ethan reached for me the moment I stepped up, pupils glittering with greed. Serena, give me the seal. Everyone's watching. I smiled, then flipped my wrist. Splash, burgundy drenched his face. Gasp swallowed the room, the DJ killed the music. Chloe shrieked, charging the stage. Bitch! You jealous hag! Ethan wiped his eyes, disbelief flipping to rage. Serena! Are you insane? You just torched our engagement. I took the mic, voice iced. Sorry, which engagement? The wall screen behind me flared alive. Sweet selfies dissolved into surveillance, Ethan and Chloe tangled on an office sofa, limbs everywhere. Next came her voice note to me: marry Serena? Please. She's a frozen man. Equin. Once I milk the Vance contracts, I'll dump her and the ring. The audience erupted, camera flashes strobed like lightning. Chloe screamed, lunging to claw the projector. I sidestepped, she crashed into Ethan, both sprawled on the parquet. Ethan scrambled up, snatching a champagne bottle. Whore. I'll kill you. He swung. I didn't flinch. A hand, long, tanned, vicious, shot out and crushed Ethan's wrist. Crack. Ethan held as the bottle rolled, foaming uselessly. Adrian stepped in front of me. Ethan sobbed through snot. Uncle. Stop her, she's trashing the Caldwell name. Adrian's smile could have cut glass. Show respect. She's your aunt, my lawfully wedded wife. He flicked open a maroon booklet, our marriage certificate, photo, and all. Ethan gaped. Aunt? I slipped my arm through Adrian's, looking down at the pathetic mess. Good nephew, shouldn't you kneel and serve tea to your new aunt? Ethan sat flattened, mind short-circuiting. How could Serena, who had adored him for 3 years, become his uncle's bride overnight? He remembered something, fumbled inside his jacket, and flourished last night's contract. Liar. She already transferred everything to me. I own the Vance Trust. He waved the paper at every camera. 200 million is mine, signed and delivered. Chloe latched onto the lifeline. Yes. Show them, Ethan. Adrian didn't blink, he signaled the security team. Clear the trash. Gorillas in suits hauled the pair toward the exit. Ethan thrashed. Look, her signature. She gave it freely. He shoved the sheet against a lens, the close-up fed straight to the giant screen. The page was pristine, except for Ethan's own frantic autograph. Where Serena's name should have been, blank, not even a speck of ink. Impossible. I watched her sign. Ethan scrubbed the paper as if ink might magically bloom. Adrian draped an arm around my waist while cameras devoured Ethan's meltdown. Game over, nephew. You played, you lost. I stood on the top step and looked down at him with your pity. Ethan, ever heard of vanishing ink? That gimmick is for 6th grade girls hiding diaries from mom and dad. Kind of sad a grown man fell for it, don't you think? A brain really is a handy thing. Too bad you parked yours in some gold digger's bedroom. The crowd erupted. Every laugh landed like a slap across Ethan's cheeks. Bitch. You set me up. He lunged, but Adrian's chief of staff reached him first, pressing a courthouse summons and an asset freeze order into his shaking hands. Williams, you're under investigation for major embezzlement. All accounts, real estate, and vehicles are hereby sealed. Furthermore, the suit you're wearing is company property. Remove it, please. Ethan froze. In front of hundreds he was stripped to his boxers and left on the sidewalk. The one-time crown prince couldn't even scrape together bus fare. Chloe's couture gown was ripped away, replaced by a filthy tablecloth, and she was shoved into the freezing wind. Teeth chattering, she stared at the penniless Ethan, eyes suddenly feral. Ethan, you swore the Vance family fortune was already in our pocket. You liar, give me back my youth and my handbags. He backhanded her. Shut up, you tramp. If you hadn't crawled into my bed I'd still be the Vance heir, a billionaire. They rolled on the asphalt like rabid dogs, biting and clawing. Adrian's arm circled my waist as we watched from the glass wall of the penthouse. Feel better? I leaned against him, studying the 2 circus acts below. Getting there. He kissed my hair. Let them tear each other apart till sunrise. Tomorrow we sign complaints at the precinct. The late autumn night bit to the bone. Ethan and Chloe limped back to her cramped studio. The heater was dead, they wrapped themselves in separate blankets and glared. Where's the money? All those designer bags could have bought 10 penthouses. Ethan's eyes were crimson. Chloe sobbed as she yanked Herm and Chanel boxes from the closet. They're my lifeline. Cut the crap. Once I'm back on top I'll buy you 20. He sent her to flip the loot at a second-hand boutique. 30 minutes later she burst back in, hair wild. Ethan, you bastard. She hurled a bag at his face. They're fake, every one. Not even worth $500. The engagement ring is cubic zirconia and the necklace is gold-plated. You've been feeding me knockoffs. He blinked, then exploded. So what? A money-grubbing bimbo like you deserves fakes. Besides, you're carrying my kid, and one day the whole Caldwell empire will be his. Why cry over a few bags? The word baby hit him like a lifeline. Right, the baby. The Caldwell first grandson. Caldwell will never abandon me. A knock interrupted. Same-day courier. Williams? A wedding gift from Caldwell. Ethan tore the envelope, sure his uncle had caved. Inside lay no check, only a DNA report. Exclusion of biological paternity. The block letters knifed his chest. He swiveled, eyes drilling into Chloe's stomach. This isn't mine? Chloe went white, retreating step for step. Ethan, listen, maybe the lab mixed things up. Screw your excuses. He lunged, hands locking around her throat. You made me raise some stranger's brat. Because of that parasite I lost the Vance deal, lost the company, everything. I'll kill you. Chloe saw black dots. Survival instinct grabbed a vase and smashed it over his head. Thud. Blood sheeted down Ethan's scalp as he collapsed. Gasping, she hissed, blame me? You're a Minuteman loser who clock-watched Serena's bank balance. How else was I supposed to live? Wait for your crumbs. They crashed into another brawl, blood, curses, shrieks, until neighbors called 911. Cops kicked the door in and dragged them apart, faces unrecognizable. Sirens wailed. The great office romance now sat in separate cruiser cages, each wishing the other dead. Adrian's private estate. Hurricane rain lashed the windows, inside, spring warmth. I caught the red welt on Adrian's knuckle, he'd blocked a bottle meant for me. Oh. Stage. Does it hurt? I dabbed iodine from the first aid kit. Sprawled on the sofa, tie loosened, he never took his eyes off me. This? A mosquito bite. He slid the jade pin from my chignon, black silk tumbled over my shoulders. Voice rough, he said, I've cleared the trash for you. Time to call me husband? My cheeks ignited, the cotton swab nearly slipped. Adrian laughed low, hooked my waist, and pulled me onto his lap. Heat radiated through 2 thin layers of cloth. License signed, vow swapped, junior nephew kneeled. Caldwell, shouldn't we finish the full act? I tried to wriggle free, I need a shower. Together. He carried me into the glass-walled wet room. Warm water cascaded over us, his soaked shirt clung to every carved line of muscle. Pinned against the door, I expected hunger, but he only cupped my face, eyes deadly serious. Serena, I didn't marry you to punish Ethan or to merge spreadsheets. I've waited 7 years. I froze. 7? I'd been a college freshman. Every time you spaced out in the library, every lap you ran at dusk, I was watching. I lived in shadows, palms covered in ink, certain someone lit like you could never be mine. Today I want to pocket that light. Coincidence shattered, every breadcrumb had been placed by him. The last wall inside me vaporized. Tears pricked, I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed the rivulet sliding down his throat. Adrian, teach me the rest of my life. We lost track of water, time, titles, only 2 congruent souls colliding. Outside, thunder marched, Ethan shivered on the precinct bench. Inside, I slept tangled in Adrian, his heartbeat my new metronome. Morning. The bed was empty except for a limitless black card, a peeled hard-boiled egg, and a note, go for the kill shot at Caldwell. Bring lunch when you wake. Code, your birthday. Adrian reflection, bruises like scattered petals, eyes calm steel. I accepted the name Caldwell and everything it sharpens. Ethan and Chloe spent the night in Stona. Then for assault. Released at dawn, she spotted her former sugar daddy's Maybach, darted in, and left Ethan eating exhaust. He sprinted, legs gave out, face planted on the curb. No cash, dead phone, he had 1 card left, begged me. Noon. I stepped from the car, lunch tote in hand. Ethan barreled through security, reeking of alley dumpsters. Security hesitated, I waved them off. He collapsed at my feet, shirt shredded, gauze taped to his forehead, bruises blooming. Serena. I was wrong, just a moment of stupidity. 3 years together, you'll write me off like that? I can't even buy food, 10 million, no, 1 million, whatever you can spare. For the love we had, please. Snot and tears polka-dotted the sidewalk. Passersby murmured, phones up. Have a heart, lady. Yeah, love once, right? I studied the spectacle, then spoke loud enough for every lens to catch. Ethan, your one free lesson is this, choices have price tags. I stepped around him and walked toward the elevator. Behind me security formed a wall. The Caldwell Tower doors sealed, the lock clicking like a period at the end of a very long sentence. Ethan drank in every whispered insult like champagne, his tears doubling from secret glee. I ignored the rubberneckers, dug into my Hermes clutch, and flicked 3 quarters. Clink. They rolled to a stop at his Italian loafers. $3, for old time's sake. Take the bus out of here. This is Caldwell headquarters, not a homeless shelter. Keep lounging and I'll have security carry you out. Ethan stared at the coins floating in his paper cup, the humiliation burning hotter than the coffee he'd begged for. He lunged up to curse me. On the top floor balcony Adrian watched, ice cold, then pressed the intercom. Sick M. 3 sleek German shepherds shot through the revolving door, barking like hellhounds. Ah, help! Ethan's soul left his body. He scrambled into traffic with one Gucci shoe left behind, never even grabbing the change. Every commuter laughed. The once golden Caldwell air had become the city's favorite running gag. He hadn't cleared 2 blocks before flashing blues boxed him in. The forensic audit had dropped. The chain of evidence was jeweler perfect. Adrian never leaves fingerprints. Embezzlement, forged contracts, commercial bribery, his take totaled $500 million. Chloe didn't dodge either. Her sugar daddy was a Trojan horse sent by Adrian's rival. After Caldwell swallowed the competition whole, the puppet handed Chloe to the precinct to save his own skin, industrial espionage charges included. Inside separate interview rooms the soulmates clawed each other for leniency. Detective. That tramp Chloe put me up to it. Ethan rattled his cuffs, spit flying. She cooked the books and promised we'd bankroll the Vance family crash. Through the cinderblock wall Chloe screamed back. Liar. He forced me, and plotted a car wreck to kill Serena. The cup break lines were his idea. I've got recordings, proof. The DA upgraded the file. Corporate crime? Add attempted homicide. Standing behind the one-way mirror, I felt winter crawl down my spine. The accident had been a death warrant with my name on it. He wanted the whole Vance estate even if that meant burying me first. Adrian's palms slid over my ears. Enough filth. No one will ever hurt you again. The verdict came fast. Adrian hires only sharks. Ethan, life without parole. Chloe, 15 years. As the transport van rolled away, Ethan spotted us beyond the yellow tape. I leaned into Adrian, sunlight blazing. Ethan beat on the window mouthing Uncle Serena. But the glass was soundproof and I'd already turned away. While Ethan learned to sew prison uniforms at Stonehaven, the Caldwell estate detonated into chaos. Caldwell, the elder, still held the ceremonial title. Having the heir dragged to Stonehaven by the reigning son? Face lost forever. They summoned an emergency family council. Aunts, uncles, twice removed cousins packed the ballroom, every scowl sharpened for battle. The second Adrian and I stepped in, accusations hailed down. Adrian, you animal, he's blood. Family washes its linen indoors. How do you call the cops? Serena's a femme fatale, uncle and nephew ripping each other apart. The old man slammed his teacup. On your knees, he barked, at me. You married in, you kneel. Get the charges dropped. Spring Ethan. Adrian slid a Louis XVI chair behind me, sat beside me, and fingered his onyx prayer beads. Let's see who dares make her kneel. Talk again and lose your yearly dividend. Silence swallowed the room. No one argues with 9-figure checks. The patriarch's jade ring quivered. You'd disown your own father over her? I rose, slid Ethan's attempted murder file across the rosewood. Father, my first time using the word, your grandson tried to kill me. I merely defended myself. A century-old house can't survive a murderer at the helm. Today I cleaned house, you should be pinning a medal on me. The old man's face purpled, words failed. Adrian stood, surveying the stunned flock. There's more. I'm gifting Serena 20% of my personal Caldwell shares effective immediately. She enters Riverdale tomorrow with an absolute veto. Gasps cracked like thunder. 20% equaled hundreds of billions. I wasn't just Caldwell, I was Caldwell. Cousins who'd sneered now bowed, voices dripping honey. Serena, you're a lioness, Ethan never deserved you. Only Adrian recognized true worth. Outside the gates the winter air tasted like champagne. Adrian draped his coat over my shoulders. Behind us the rotting dynasty, and Ethan's future, faded to specks. 6 months later. Ethan stitches cargo shorts in Stonehaven. Without cash for protection he's the cell block toy, he sobs for his uncle nightly. Adrian doesn't blink. I, meanwhile, stand on a velvet stool while a couture gown is pinned to my hips. Our wedding, dawn on Caldwell, no paparazzi, only friends who cheered when we survived. Night before the ceremony Adrian Des me to my alma mater's library. He stops at a scarred oak table. 7 years ago today you studied here all afternoon. And I sat across from you, taking notes, on you. He opens a brittle photo album, me zoning out over contracts, me jogging the quad, me feeding strays, every frame his silent vigil. Tears blur my lashes. While I fought the world alone, someone chose to be my unseen bodyguard. Wedding day. Azure sky, island garden, white roses carpeting the sand. I walk toward the man who waited 7 years for this minute. Adrian's voice trembles, the warlord everyone fears losing his cool. People call me the Reaper. Only you can turn me mortal. Serena, thank you for giving me a home worth having. The moment rings click on my finger, I gag, hand over mouth. The priceless diamond slips, plops into the sand. Doctor, now. Adrian shouts, panic breaking his marble composure. The family physician grins. Congratulations, Caldwell. You're going to be a father. Adrian freezes, lifts me in a spinning hug. I'm going to be a dad, he repeats like a broken record, then kneels to kiss the still flat curve of my belly. Sunset bleeds across the sea, my veil flutters like a white flag over old wars. Resting against his chest, I ask the tide, if life rewound, would you still marry me? He kisses my hair. No rewind needed. As long as you're here, the present is already perfect. The camera freezes, bliss on Caldwell while, miles away, Ethan presses his forehead to Stonehaven bars, tears carving clean tracks through the grime. Some people miss the last boat by inches, others anchor in safe harbors forever. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, smash that like, share with your friends, and tell us your thoughts below. Subscribe for more. See you next episode.